There's a new documentary out on Netflix called Rolling Thunder in Review. It's a Bob Dylan documentary done by Martin Scorsese. Whoa. And I haven't watched it yet, but there's a clip. You know Edward Norton, the actor? He was in Incredible Hulk. He was also the star of Fight Club. You'll recognize him when you see him.
I've heard the name. Definitely.
He is a great actor.
It's right there. Oh,
yeah.
Bumped into the microphone.
He was on the Joe Rogan podcast. And I was like shocked. Wow, he went on there. The guy is a really interesting guy. I would highly recommend you watch the Edward Norton Joe Rogan podcast. Like it's like only like an hour and a half or something, and it's actually like he's a really interesting guy, like a very interesting guy, and he talks about Bob Dylan.
Sponsored.
What'd you say?
It's not sponsored.
No, obviously not.
But Joe Rogan shill,
dude.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But no, I mean it's a great conversation. But he talks about Bob Dylan, and I need to watch that documentary on him because what he has to say is pretty fascinating.
Make a review on it.
Yeah, I'll need to. I'll need to. Yeah, totally. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this clip.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
The flip is like Dylan, who I still find myself, like when you watch the new Scorsese, have you seen that thing, Rolling Thunder? It's really worth watching that.
Recognize him?
Or the original Scorsese doc about him, No Direction Home. Like, here's this guy, he's like in his early 20s, and they're coming at him with all this like voice of your generation, all this stuff, and he's like, that's nothing I can relate to, man. You know, and he's going, like, I can't help wondering if Lenny Bruce loved Dylan. I don't know that, but I would think that Lenny Bruce was tuned in to Dylan, because Dylan's thing was like, don't ask me what it means, man. I wrote it. I don't know what it means. What do you think it means? He was just constantly going, buzz off, man. I'm not picking it apart for you. I'm not going to pick it apart for you. I'm not going to like buy into this stuff you're putting at me. And how did he have, he was 21 years old. Like, who resists people falling all over them to call them great when they're that age?
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
Nobody has that kind of like
sensibility
to go, everything you're bringing at me is going to be bad for me. And
wow.
It's like, if you watch those interviews with him when he's that age, it's pretty astonishing, because to your point, like, you're like, oh, thoughtful act, whatever. I look at him and I'm like, nobody has that discipline at that age.
Yeah, it's amazing how uniquely qualified he was for that position at that point in time, and that very strange, tumultuous time in history as well.
And not only that, right at the moment that like Joni Baez brings him out on the stage at the Newport Folk Festival and basically goes, this is the prince. I anoint you. He's the one. He's Neo. He is the one. And the next year, he doesn't even take 1 year to go, let me just lean into your love. The next year he comes with an electric guitar and plugs it in at the Newport Folk Festival, and people start screaming in agony, like going, what are you doing? Like, you're Bob Dylan, you're the king of folk, you can't plug in a guitar. And people are like running to try to cut his cords with an axe in this thing. Like, that's how much of a betrayal. And he's like, there's people yelling traitor at him, and he's going, I don't believe you. I think you're a liar. Like, and he's turning around to Robbie Robertson and going, play it loud. I mean, the guy is so punk rock.
Wow.
He's so totally punk rock. He was as punk rock as anybody ever.
I think he probably had to be, just to resist what they were trying to box him into.
Yeah, but there's never been anybody who was more like, oh, you like what I'm doing? I'm gone. I'm over here. Like, enjoy. You're going to not like it because you like what I just did. Now where I'm going, you're going to be discombobulated and upset. And eventually you're going to catch up. And then when you catch up, I'm going to move on to something else. Like, it really is amazing. It's amazing. Because how many people do you know in any of the things we all do who get a taste of a thing and don't, like, lean into it for a while, right? Like, who don't kind of go, well, this feels good, maybe I'll just hang out right here. And
But Bob Dylan's such an interesting character.
I also don't think this guy's depiction is entirely accurate. This is on YouTube.
Yeah.
It might be Newport, it might not be Newport, but there's a clip from like a live concert where somebody yells Judas at him.
And someone yelled Judas?
And that's the part where he's like, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
You can probably find it. on YouTube somewhere.
Maybe. I don't know.
I know it's out there.
It'd be hard to, yeah. I mean, yeah, because isn't that hilarious? Like, people were just like, no, you can't diversify yourself. You can't use an electric guitar.
Yeah.
You're the folk guy, man. They were trying to box him in, and he was just like, nah, man, that's not what, you know. He's just like, the times they are changing. The times they are, that's kind of my Bob Dylan. I don't know. But, yeah, that guy was such an interesting character. And that's a good point, like, because like I can't really think of any like 20-year-old like superstar who has like been like that, where he's like, nah, man, leave me alone.
Definitely not of this time.
Like everyone's just like, yes, love me more, give me more.
Yep.